No one is above the law. Because this is Schwartz's Law. In-depth, no-holds-barred interviews with newsmakers. Insights and advice from the experts. Putting the issues of the day on trial. Lady Justice may wear a blindfold, but Michael Schwartz does not. And neither will you when you enter the court of Schwartz's Law.
I'm Michael Schwartz. Welcome to my courtroom. On the docket this week, the lemon law. Anyone who has ever had the misfortune to purchase a poorly manufactured car or truck knows exactly how it came to be called a lemon. In fact, the bitterness of that sour little fruit hardly compares to the taste of having spent tens of thousands of dollars on a vehicle that doesn't work and just can't seem to be fixed. Consumer protection advocates long ago recognized the problem and passed laws to protect buyers that came to be called, appropriately enough, lemon laws. If you've ever owned a lemon, you'll want to hear my interview with attorney advocates Steve Toth and Chris Winkler of Consumer Legal Services. And you'll especially want to stay tuned if you've never owned a lemon. Yet, I'll dig out the facts. You be the judge and jury on this edition of Schwartz's Law. We're here today with Stephen Toth and Chris Winkler of Consumer Legal Services, which is probably, in my view, the best consumer services law firm in the state of Michigan and elsewhere, because they have actual offices not only in Michigan but other parts of the country. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Steve, tell me, we hear about lemon law. A lot of people don't know what lemon law is exactly, and they have had different ideas about what it means to have a car that might be subject to a lemon law case. Could you tell us what that's about?
Sure. Under the Michigan lemon law, if you purchase a new vehicle and you bring it in 4 times for the same problem, or if the vehicle's out of service 30 days due to repair, it may be a lemon. Now, for the 4 times in, you have to, after the 3rd time you have it in for repair, you have to send a certified letter to the manufacturer. You put them on notice, and they would get one last chance to fix it. Or if you have 25 days out of service, you also send the same letter, type of letter, certified mail, return receipt requested, notify the manufacturer of the problem, and they get one last chance to fix it. So in the end, it's either 4 times in for the same problem or 30 days out of service. Now, for the 4 times, the first defect has to occur within the 1st year of ownership, and the other 3 times has to occur within 2 years after the 1st time. Now, for the 30-day provision, all 30 days must occur within the 1st year of ownership. And if it's a lemon, then you can demand that the manufacturer repurchase the vehicle, or you can request that they replace it with a comparable new vehicle.
All right, now I know we talked about new cars. What about if you get a used car? Do you have any availability of lemon law in those cases?
There's very limited under the lemon law. The lemon law generally applies to new vehicles. However, in a limited circumstance, you can qualify a used car if you bring it in the 1st time for the defect within the original in-service date of the vehicle. So I buy a vehicle on January 1st, I'm not happy with it for whatever reason, I turn it in, Michael Schwartz comes along on June 1st and buys it. So the original in-service date for that vehicle is January, when I purchased it. Now you come along, you're the 2nd purchaser, and then you start having problems. As long as you're within that 1st year of the original in-service date, you can qualify it under the lemon law. But we do have other laws, and Mr. Winkler, I think we'll talk about those in a few minutes, for used cars, and if you don't fit neatly under the lemon law, you're going to have rights and you're going to be able to do something.
Well, Chris, I know that you've actually prosecuted a number of cases, not just here in Michigan, but also in various states throughout the United States, and I understand that some states have a lemon law which is a little different from Michigan's.
Yes, each state has their own lemon law, and they have different parameters. Steve has explained essentially Michigan's parameters, but there are also one thing that a lot of states do have in common is there's a commercial code, a uniform commercial code, which gives rise to various legal rights and remedies for the purchase of any good or product, and that would apply to motor vehicles.
Now, the Uniform Commercial Code, just so that our viewers understand, is a law that's passed by each legislature throughout the United States, or at least most of them, which all have the same language. That's why it's called uniform, and it's designed to deal with a whole panoply of commercial transactions, one of which may include the automobile purchase.
There are minor variations between the states, but they're based upon the same general concepts many times. And what slight variations may be there, you do see a trend of consistency, and that's why they wanted a uniform commercial code. So there could be some sort of consistency between the states, although there may be minor variations between states. There's also a federal act, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, which applies nationally, obviously, because it is a federal act, and it provides, it kind of supplements state warranty laws. If you do have a breach of warranty claim under state law, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act provides remedies in consumer transactions, which allows access to the courts, which would include a potential recovery of a reasonable attorney fee based on the actual time expended in the case. And the idea being that you will have access to the courts for a breach of warranty claim in consumer transactions. So nationally, there is this law that would apply to every state.
Right. Now, I understand, and I have personal experience because both my sons actually used your law firm in connection with lemons that they had, and in both of those cases, they didn't have to pay any legal fees at all. Those legal fees were paid by either the manufacturer or the car dealer or whoever the defendant was in those cases. Is that typical of lemon laws?
That's absolutely typical, and that's a big part of the lemon law. So you can hire a firm like Consumer Legal Services will represent you, and if we're successful, then in addition to your damages as a consumer, the manufacturer is going to pay your attorney fees. So absolutely, in the two cases that we represented your sons, we were able to get a satisfactory resolution, and we got paid. So that's very important, and that allows, and Chris alluded to it a little bit earlier, it allows consumers to gain access to the courtroom. Without those attorney fee shifting provisions, the average consumer is going to be very hard pressed to hire a lawyer, pay a retainer fee, and hopefully, and then get satisfaction. So with the lemon law and the federal Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, they do provide attorney fees, and that's very important.
Now, what happens if for some reason you're not successful?
Well, if we're unsuccessful, then there's no attorney fees, and our client does not pay us any attorney fees.
So it's kind of like what one lawyer styles himself as the no-fee guarantee. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Now, when we talk about some of our lemon laws, I know, for example, there are certain things that people should do in the event that they think that they might have a lemon. And a lemon, as we know, is where you've got this situation, as Steve described, where your car has got some kind of a defect and you go in all these times that are mentioned, or that it's out of service for over 30 days because they haven't fixed it within that 30 days. What should a consumer do in order to prepare in the event that they've got to go ahead and have a case for lemon law? Well,
one of the primary things a consumer can do involving a defective vehicle or any defective product that has a manufacturer's warranty on it is to document presentations. The law focuses, the lemon law in particular, which applies to motor vehicles, focuses on presentations, number of presentations, and time out of service. So it's important that you get documentation reflecting when you present it and give the manufacturer an opportunity to correct a product under their warranty. You get documentation that reflects that you did bring it in, how long it was there, and what your complaint was, and what they did to resolve it.
And so when you go in to get it serviced, you should get some kind of a paper from the dealer showing that you've got that presentation, you brought it in. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about that and other aspects of lemon law after these words.